Well, guys, it's New Year's Day today, about 2.5 weeks after surgery, and hopefully this works out. I thought it'd be a change of pace to be outside, film this while I'm walking. I've walked about a mile already, and I'm planning to do about 3.5 miles today. Feeling pretty good. Sitting down for any length of time becomes a real problem, but while I'm up and around, it's not so bad. So let's see, a couple of other things that have happened in the last week. I went back for my 2-week follow-up with my doctor. They looked at they took some X-rays and looked at those X-rays. Those X-rays turned out to be pretty good. So they're pretty happy with how everything has sort of set. It's interesting. I'll include the X-rays on this video. You'll be able to see that there are where the pins and the rods are that connect. And now that I don't have bandages on my back, I can actually feel them when I'm, if I put my hand back there, I can feel them. But the interesting thing about the pictures is it also shows the separator, the disc separator that they put in between the two L4 and L5, and you can see what they do is they put a few little pins straight up and down in there to be able to, so when they x-ray they can actually see where the disc is, and you can see that those are almost perfectly aligned as well. And I've marked up a couple of the x-rays so that maybe you can understand that a little bit better, see what you're in for. It's the biggest challenge I've got right now is sitting in a car, and because I'm still on hydrocodone, I can't really drive, and so I'm frustrated by that. I really want to be able to drive more, have that sense of freedom, and I need to be able to get around more pretty soon here as I start to take on more jobs. So there's some real challenges associated with the drug dosing and getting that right, but working on that, and so far so good. So I'll just get up and start walking. You can see I'm not walking fast, but I'm actually walking pretty well, and it hurts a lot less when I'm walking, when I'm standing up and I'm walking, than if I'm actually sitting down. So that's, I guess, a good sign. It's understandable when you're sitting down, you're actually putting more pressure on your lumbar. So yeah, need to be up and moving around a bit more. So anyway, that's about it for now. Talk a bit later. Thanks, bye. So hi, it's a couple of days later, and I thought I'd give you a bit of a fill-in. I've included the X-rays that I spoke about earlier, and yeah, I figured out how to actually sit in a chair. I've got a relatively comfortable office chair. I put a pillow down right across where the surgery was, and I fixed the back so that it doesn't rock back, and I'm able to actually sit for a good portion of the day and be able to actually work. I get up about every hour and a half, something like that, and walk around a little. That actually helps a lot, and so that's kind of a progress that I've made there. I've also figured out how to actually deal with the hydrocodone issue, and so what I'm doing is I'm only taking the hydrocodone in the evenings, and then during the day I'm taking a much smaller dose of tramadol so that it doesn't actually affect. It's not an opiate, so it doesn't affect my ability to drive. I haven't actually driven in the last couple of days, but that basically gives me that freedom. So those are a couple of the things that I'm doing. One of the things in thinking about and watching the video that I've been recording, one of the things I've been thinking about is that the follow-up that I had from the doctors in Dallas
The follow-up interview that I had, or the appointment that I had 2 weeks after, was not very long. Did the x-rays. They double checked that the x-rays were good. Talked about my pain level, and so, you know, we went over the basics. He gave me a script for some more pain killers, and so we went, and that was basically it. I wish that he had spent a little bit of time talking about physiotherapy, and, you know, how to sort of wean me off my the hydrocodone. You know, I did mention that my wife's a pharmacist, and so that probably helped, that probably made him think that, well, you can actually work with your wife on that. And so I'm assuming that that's what he was thinking in that regard. But still, it would have been good to have a bit more conversation about sort of what next. He did say that doesn't want me to do anything heavy, no heavy lifting, nothing over weight of a jug of milk, which my daughter tells me is about 8.5 pounds. And you know, no strenuous activity at all, and nothing that twists the back. So I get that. I totally understand that. We talked a little bit about driving with the brace on, and make sure that you're safe if you do get in an accident. If you don't have the brace on, then it could be curtains for your back. So we did that conversation, but I kind of wish we'd had a bit more physiotherapy. Should I be stretching? What kind of stretches should I be doing? Should he actually give me a prescription to go see a PT? You know, what I need to do from that standpoint. So that's one of the things that that I was a little bit surprised about before the operation, and even, you know, after the operation. Right after the operation, there was the surgical team did a really great job of making sure that everything was set properly, and we made the best of the surgery. But a little bit of follow up probably would have been a bit better. So if you do go in for your checkup after your surgery, be sure to ask about well, what's the best way to actually, you know, drop off of the hydrocodone or the whatever the painkillers are that they're giving you. You know, work out a plan with your doctor as opposed to trying to figure it out. And in my case, I'm lucky that I have a pharmacist that can help me figure it out. But so those would be a couple of pieces of advice. Yeah, you'll notice that on January 1st, it was 76 degrees here in Central Texas. So life's pretty good here at the beginning of the year. However, it's actually gotten pretty cold. It's now a couple of days later, and it's in the 40s, and so walking is a little bit more challenging. You know, I don't want to be all bundled up and then, you know, walking around and slip on anything. So I'm a bit worried about that, but, you know, take it one step at a time, and yeah, life's going pretty good. So anyway, that's follow up, and hope you enjoy the video. Thanks, bye.